Good evening.
Pastor Curtis Smith, pastor here at St. James Baptist Church. We certainly want to thank you all for coming and gracing us tonight with your presence for the town hall meeting. To our mayor, thank you all, and all the members, thank you all for choosing us to be a part of the city business tonight. So we certainly want to extend our warmest welcome to each and every one of you. If there's anything that we can do tonight that would make it more hospitable for you, please don't hesitate to ask. We're here to serve you. So thank you again for coming, and we'll turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Pastor. First of all, I would like to thank Pastor Smith and the St. James Baptist Church for letting us be in this facility tonight. I think we need to give them a round of applause. We usually start, we will be hearing from the department heads tonight and about different reports across the city that we've been doing the last 3-4 months, something like that, since we had the last town hall meeting. We usually start with myself making an opening statement of what we have done over the last 3 months. And I would like to start with that, and then we'll start with Matt, and then we will just go report after report, all right? And then we want to hear from you all. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is starting back in March, there was several events that occurred in March I'd like to make a report on. One was the Skyline report that we went to, which shows the growth that's going to occur in the region, which we got very good reports. The region, it has grown, and they are predicting a growth of about 2.5, if I remember that correct. We said in that meeting. Also, during the month of March, I met with the Thailand Minister of Commerce. We are looking at making an economic connection between Thailand and the city of Fayetteville. Also, we had the groundbreaking of Liberty Bank out by the mall. Also, I was involved with the Northwest Arkansas Water Walk, and what that basically is, it brings awareness to water shortages and water contamination throughout the world. You carry so many pounds of water. The mayor was able to carry about 30 pounds of water for half a mile or so to show what it's like if you were a family in Africa, what kind of weight that is and how long it takes to do that. We know, according to the statistics, that in Africa, an average family uses 5 gallons a day of water. That's all they can use. That's all that there's available to them. In England, about 35 gallons. In the United States, over 100 gallons a day. That's per day. And we know that worldwide, what got my attention the most, we know that 6,000 children die a day from either water contamination or water shortages in the world. So I'm very supportive of that group. Going on to April, First Thursday started in April again this year. That is something that has, we decided to close the square back when I first came into office and let the arts community pretty much have the square every first Thursday. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. We will have anywhere from usually around 1,000 to 1,500 people every first Thursday on the square, and it's a great time to bring the family out. Also, we were designated again as one of the Tree City USA. We had an Earth Day festivity started in April. Farmers Market started in April. Right now, we're the 5th best farmers market in the United States. Yeah. So, yes. We also had the biosolids. We celebrated the opening of that, which takes a lot of the biosolids out of the landfills, and we are drying that and making it usable. So that adds to our sustainability in the city of Fayetteville. Aldi's had another opening. They moved their store, a larger store on the south end of town. I don't know how many of y'all have gotten to go to Aldi's, but we had the grand opening of Aldi's in April. We also had the Joe Martin Stage Race, which we had runners from bicyclists from 50 states and over 20 countries. In May, we had the Jose's reopening on Dixon Street, and that was one thing that we did. We also received the Governor's Work-Life Balance Award. And what that is balancing the work with home life, and those are awards that's given out. And the city of Fayetteville was the first city ever to receive that award, from my understanding. Let's see, we had the roundabout groundbreaking out at the mall. We had the Block Street party a couple of weeks ago. They tell me that they predicted almost 10,000 people would attend that, and so that was quite a day. The Gully Park series started last Thursday. Did anybody get a chance to go to the Gully Park concert? Had Shakespeare in the Park. That was a wonderful outing. On the infrastructure, we are doing road construction this year on Garland, Cato Springs, crossover. We're hopefully to be on target for the flyover at the mall as well. We made park improvements to Walker Park. Has anybody been to the baseball fields at Walker Park? The improvements we made there. That was really wonderful. Wilson Park Pool is now open, and we on target, if we're correct, on the regional park, the soccer fields of it, we are on target to hit 2016. Is that correct, Jeremy, for the soccer fields to be built out there? So that's my report for right now. The city's in real good shape. Our HMR taxes are up about 8%. Our sales tax, I believe, Paul, is over 5%. Is that correct?
Yes.
Over 5%. We weathered a pretty tough storm the first 2 years. Went through the worst recession since the Depression, but I truly believe that the city has turned a corner, and we are really on the move right now. Growth seems to be really exploding in the city. I know that our building permits are up this year, so everything looks real good, real good. I see Mark Kenyon. It's good to have you here, Alderman, City of Fayetteville. So we will start with the reports from the departments. Matt?
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Matt Mihalovich. I'm the Trails Coordinator for the City of Fayetteville. I'm just going to go over some of our current trail projects. Right now we're working on a trail that's not far from here called Meadow Valley Trail, and that's a trail across the University of Arkansas farm area in Agri Park. That's under construction. And then next will be Lake Fayetteville. Sorry, it's kind of cutting off on the top, but that'll be our next project. And then a couple other projects we have: Clear Creek Trail and the Frisco Trail, Southern Extension, and Town Branch Trail. I'm going to go into more detail on that. First, the Meadow Valley Trail, we expect to be able to have that complete in August, actually. So it's getting real close. It's a 2.3 mile long trail connecting Skull Creek Trail out toward Mount Comfort Road, where there's bike lanes that it'll hook onto. And this one was pretty involved because it involves a tunnel. As many of you probably have seen along Garland, we've been working there for quite a while to provide a safe way to cross that busy road, busy state highway. And so this is a picture of the plan of the tunnel, and then I've got another one, kind of a cross-section, how it slopes down and involves retaining walls and everything. But it's going to be really nice to have the trail where you won't have to stop, you won't have to worry about traffic. So I've got a few pictures here too of how it went in really fast because they're precast culverts, box culverts. Those are 10 feet tall by 12 feet wide. This is a picture inside. There's lighting inside, and it feels real open. So here, and then a lot of retaining walls to get so we can ramp out of the tunnel so that it won't be too steep riding your bike or walking up on either side, and also complies with ADA accessibility. So really excited to get that one going. Another project that'll be coming online here next week is a traffic signal at North Street and Skull Creek Trail, which is just right over here from here. And we went through quite a process with street committee and hearing comments that the current configuration just wasn't really working, and bikes were not stopping and darting out in front of traffic. So we did an analysis, and it met the counts for a traffic signal at that location. So starting June 11th, it'll go into a flash mode to kind of warn people, and then the 13th is we plan to have those operational, the signal. So it'll stop the trail. It'll be just a traffic signal like a normal traffic signal, but with the trail in North Street. So I have a few pictures of some of the analysis we went through to meet warrants. It needed 1,100 vehicles, and you can see we were up almost to 2,500 vehicles in the next slide. The trail use, we needed 107 an hour, and you can see on our counts that we were up around the 200 mark an hour, which is just really amazing use on that trail. People are really enjoying it and using it for the goal of our program, which is alternative transportation, and we're seeing that a lot right now, and it's really just growing. So it's really great. Okay, so I mentioned our next project, when we finish that Meadow Valley Trail, we'll be heading to Lake Fayetteville for the much anticipated last mile there of the loop around the lake. Currently there's 4.5 miles that are paved. This last mile, 1 mile, will be a similar trail, paved 10 foot wide. It will not replace the nature trail that's there. It'll be in addition. So we'll have two types of trail all the way around. And actually the Ozark Off-Road Cycling Group has been improving the nature trail. So if you haven't been out there and seen that, it's really nice improvements to make it more sustainable and resist erosion. So this will be a real nice piece. We're getting some property actually donated from the adjacent property owner, which is going to help, because if anyone that's been on that, it's steep on that section. There's some really steep kind of ravines that come up, or fingers. So we're able to kind of curve around some of those and be a lot more sensitive to the trees and everything out there with this donated property. Another trail project that's going to be going through the process of design right now is the Town Branch Trail, and this is just south of 15th Street. If you're familiar with the university's Research and Technology Park, which they used to call Engineering South, that's right by there, just a little bit north, following the Town Branch Creek. And so that'll be a half a mile section of that we hope, we'll have other phases coming online soon to tie that in to the main trail. Want to mention the Razorback Regional Greenway. That's really exciting. That's going on with that. That's a 36-mile trail that uses parts of the Skull Creek and Frisco Trail to connect all the way up into northern Bentonville. So these are the phases of it. They're getting started on some sections. It's actually going to be a lot under construction in 2013 and then open in 2014. So it's really not that far out. Funded by a Tiger II grant and also from the Walton Family Foundation. A lot more slide there. And I wanted to mention, if anyone's interested, that we're going to do a groundbreaking for the first two sections on Tuesday, June 12th at 11 o'clock, and that's right by Best Buy up in Rogers. So there'll be a ceremony there. It's kind of a big deal to really kick this thing off and get it going. So here's a little map of it. The sections of the Razorback Regional Greenway for Fayetteville include Clear Creek Trail, which is a trail connecting Lake Fayetteville. From where Skull Creek and Mud Creek trails kind of come together right now, there'll be a piece to go up through Johnson. And so that's going to be coming on probably 2013. And then also this Frisco Trail Southern Extension. And we're right in design right now, and we're looking at different options to how to cross the busy highways of MLK and South School. So right now we're getting public input on that. So I wanted to mention that we're having on Thursday a community input session at the Senior Center from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock. So invite you all to come out and express your, we'll have displays up, and we want your input on what the best way to cross the busy highway. I've got a few of the options here. We're looking at 3 different options right now: is a at-grade crossing with a signal, a tunnel, or a bridge. And we've hired Garver Engineering, Garver LLC, to help us determine what's the best way, and we want input too on really what's the best way to cross there. And I've got a few other slides here just to show you some examples of some of the bridge options to go over, signalized at grade, and then tunnel, which is what we're familiar with because we just did one at Garland. So that's what's going on with trails. So please ask any questions you'd like. I guess whenever we open up questions later. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, good evening. My name is Jeff Coles. I'm Assistant Transportation Manager. And I'm going to attempt to tell you about what we're presently engaged in and or will be soon. Matt steals my thunder. I love to talk about trails construction, but so I'm relegated to talking about sidewalks and streets, but just as important, certainly. First of all, I'll just talk about what we are in the process of working on, what we're engaged in, and what we intend to be working toward over the next few months. And then I've got a few slides when we're done, just examples of some of the accomplished projects, and we've got a few before and afters that are quite profound. So right now, as far as upcoming sidewalk projects, we're working presently on something that Matt's been very keen to have completed, and that's that prospect from Wilson to Frisco, to make that connection from Wilson Park to the trail, which we'll be completing here probably within the next week and a half or two. There's some drainage boxes that have to be constructed, but that sidewalk is constructed between there, and people are very anxious to get on it and use it. We've been working out on Mission Boulevard east of 265. I don't know if anybody's seen the sidewalk there on the north side of Mission, working to connect Star Road to Covington. Still some pieces that need to be inserted, some pieces of the puzzle to be completed. That's June, July project. Lawson Street, which is an Ozark Regional Transit project, here this month, which will connect an existing sidewalk on Lawson to Porter to make that sidewalk connection there. Then moving on, as we move further in and deeper into the summer and the heat as well, the Center Street in the downtown area, from essentially the continuing education center east to College, sidewalk there. College Avenue from Center to Mountain. These all in the month of August. Again, we're basically looking at working through this second quarter and into the third quarter with some of these projects. And then we've got, I don't know if anyone has been down in or around Oakland, but some significant improvements, and I think I've got a few slides that are indicative of the dramatic change that we've seen there. But we've got one additional drainage project there that we've at Oakland and Holly that we'll be coming back to and remediate for. On the in-house overlay program, I'll just quickly go through these. Our crew's currently working out Crystal Springs out off Salem Road, all the mineral streets, quartz, barite, minerals I've never heard of, but streets named for anyway, which we like, is fine. And they're currently working there, and we'll be completing those and completing overlays there quickly. We'll be overlaying Jackson, then moving on to Rockwood and Sunset, which essentially will take us, when all those are complete, we will have 4.5 miles, approximately 4.5 miles of overlay for this quarter, which exceeds our goal for this coming quarter. So we're very excited about that. The asphalt and overlay crew will then continue working on some FEMA drainage projects until the 1st of July. And then likely, as we wrap up, as we make those final pieces, put those final pieces together at Meadow Valley Trail, as Matt talked about, we're doing some asphalt overlay to finish that out and make that connection, and fit some of those pieces in. And just lastly, as far as some of the things, well, before I show a few slides, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you have traversed areas on Joyce Street, that eastbound lane there in front of Butterfield Trail Village. That's been completely renovated, demoed, and that fractured road section removed and replaced, and Township as well, the eastbound portion of lane on Township. But now if I I've got a few slides, and I won't elaborate too much on these. These are just examples of what we've completed. This is adjacent to Palm Stadium on 15th Street, and there's the completed. We like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Ainsworth. This is up on top of the hill, up on top of the mountain, Rockwood. There's a subset roadways. That's just recently overlaid. And I believe that's Clark as well. Same. There's several streets there that we've overlaid. That one is Juneway. That's actually off of Township, Juneway Terrace, which was in very bad need of an overlay. That came out very nicely. This, and there was these were out of order to an extent, but this is part of that Mission Boulevard out east of 265, the sidewalk under construction out there. And again, that's ongoing. There's some pieces that still need to be fit there. There's a completed section. This is, I believe, this is Martin. This little subdivision there, Stubblefield, north of Stubblefield, east of College. There's Martin, Alice, Nolan, and Bertha. Those streets were all milled and overlaid just recently. Here's one of my favorite before and afters right here. This is Oakland, and now you see it, that same section as it is. Sidewalk improvements, curb and gutter, drainage improvements, desperately needed and very well received. And then I think I've got two more slides. This is Razorback between Maple and Cleveland, a sidewalk project there. Curb and gutter and a partial overlay of that roadway. And that's some of the business we've been about. That's Ruth. Again, that's up on top of the hill. That's up off the Rockwood Trail.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman?
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Pate. I'm with the Development Services Department. Chris Brown, our city engineer, is usually here to give you an update on sort of the road projects that we either contract out or design in-house. He's on vacation, so I'm going to fill in as best as I can. These are the projects that we have under construction, either started last year and are still under construction or are under construction in 2012. Some of these are completely highway department projects, but we're partnering with them in some form or fashion. Some of them are city projects. I'm just going to run through a few that are under construction right now. We have on our cone patrol on our website, so you can find out more details on those if you visit our website at accessfayetteville.org. The two highway department projects that we're partnering, one that we're partnering on right now, Crossover Road, is under construction. There's a second piece on the north end of Crossover Road to take us to the city limits of Fayetteville. We're actually not a partner in that particular road project, but you can expect to see those improvements continuing on for the next couple of years, I would anticipate. Another project that hasn't really started, not off the ground yet, but we've awarded about to award some contracts on Huntsville Road down here. Again, I'm not going to show any photos of that one, but that's another water, sewer, and road expansion project, particularly at this intersection here of what you see here is Huntsville Road and 265. We have a lot of traffic coming in from east of town here and gets bottlenecked, and so this will help improve the congestion that we have and help with our congestion management in that location. And then the highway department has just recently completed some intersection improvement, ramp improvement here at the intersection of Martin Luther King and 540, and expect to see more construction upcoming. The highway department is expecting to 6-lane a section of I-540 in the coming months, or begin that construction project within the city limits of Fayetteville. So it's something just to be aware of. All corners of Fayetteville are being affected right now by road projects, so just be aware of that. I'm going to start out with our roundabout construction project. We just had the ceremonial groundbreaking. The mayor mentioned this as well. It's the city's first construction of a roundabout, a modern roundabout project. This is the first of 3 projects we have in what we call the Fayetteville Expressway Economic Development Corridor. The roundabout being the first under construction. This is a project that will help with traffic congestion, particularly if you've ever come eastbound on Fulbright Expressway here, trying to get off or coming to this 4-way stop. There's always traffic backed up, particularly trying to get off the expressway. This will help create some slip lane, what's called a slip lane, and allow traffic to come off of this lane and go directly back toward the west on Futrell or Gregg, and also allow for safer and ease of access through the roundabout here near Washington Regional Medical Center. Just a couple of statistics. Roundabouts generally have 90% fewer fatalities in terms of their traffic movement. There's 76% reduction in injuries and 35% reduction in all crashes. That's significant safety improvements, we believe, at this intersection. It definitely takes getting used to, especially as the first one. We've seen other cities within the corridor, both Rogers and I believe Bentonville have modern roundabouts also constructed, and it takes getting a little bit used to, but afterward it does prove to be safer. We did issue the notice to proceed back at the end of May. You should start to see some activity on this relatively soon, and we expect substantial completion by the end of November, 1st of December. The next project that we hope to see also construction on, kind of right on the heels of the roundabout, starting hopefully in December of this year, is a flyover. This is just down the street from the roundabout, so this is Millsap coming off. Millsap turns into Futrell, so just down the street here. The city is constructing a flyover. Again, this is part of the bond program that was approved back by voters back in 2005, 2006, to make improvements in this area, particularly with access to the mall. What this does is allow basically a large bridge structure. It's called a flyover. If you're northbound on North College, you can exit onto this flyover structure and get all the way over here to Mall Avenue without having to go through all the congestion that you normally see on Joyce Avenue. It also allows one to get directly onto Fulbright Expressway if you want to head to 540. So this will really help us, we believe, in terms of our congestion management, again, and safety within that intersection, and getting more access into this important economic driver that is the regional area. We submitted 90% plans for review to HTD. This is also a federal project, so we're providing 20% matching on the funding for this, just as we did with the roundabout. The third project in this series is the Van Ash Drive extension. We're in the conceptual design review. We've taken this concept to the street committee of the City Council, and I believe they voted to approve a cross-section and a plan for this project. This would connect Highway 112 up to Gregg Avenue via Van Ash. Van Ash currently heads west of Gregg Avenue, but then it starts making some curlicues, and you're really not sure where you are once you try to find 112. This will straighten that out and help residents and visitors get from 112 directly over to the mall area. And if you're wanting to go to Sam's Club, they'll provide a direct connection there without having to get on Fulbright Expressway or 540 to do that. So that would really help, we believe, in this area as well. Garland Avenue is a project that is also under construction currently. Right now, it's just the water and sewer improvements. You've begun to see some improvements starting just last week on Garland Avenue. This is a partnership between the Highway Department and the City of Fayetteville in terms of the water and sewer improvements. That's what's going on currently. That's expected to be completed by the end of this year before the road widening project begins. This project will widen Garland Avenue from Weddington or North Street directly due north with refuge islands or medians, if you will, along that area for traffic safety and to, again, help with our traffic management in this area. We'll also be installing a couple of signals, one at Mount Comfort and Holly. Mount Comfort will be realigned here where it comes into the angled intersection. It'll actually be realigned with Holly. There will be a signal there to help folks get out. And same thing with Dean. If anyone's ever tried to turn left on Dean or Sycamore, it's really difficult in this area. And so this will be a signalized intersection, timed to control that intersection much better for flow of traffic. Something else that we're working on in my office is a residential energy code. This is actually before the City Council tomorrow night for its first consideration. The mayor set up a task force, local builders, architects, and others to study our residential building codes and make recommendations on how to improve them. We've been working on that for about a year. After studying the 2003, 2006, 2009, 2012, and our Energy Star codes, looking at all of those, we actually utilized a home that's been constructed here in Fayetteville and modeled all of the energy improvements with all of those codes to see which would be basically the best bang for the buck. What's most economically viable, what gets your best energy savings. After that study, the task force has recommended that we adopt the 2009 Residential Energy Code. The U.S. Department of Energy estimates that the 2009 will achieve a 14% increase in building performance. Basically, that means you should see a 14% decrease in your utility bill and see a much better performance in new homes if you move to this code. Our local models pretty much mirror that. We actually saw a 14 to 18% increase in energy efficiency. And what we basically did is took all the improvements like better insulation, better caulking and sealing, better roofing materials, better windows, the things that come along with the 2009 code. We modeled that. We looked at both the cost of what it takes to improve that. It's not cheap, obviously. It takes some, it's not free. It takes some investment to do that. But we also modeled the savings. And what we found out, these are all the different areas where air can escape, and these are improvements that we can make. We found out that on an average home that was constructed, 1,800 square foot home, the additional cost over 30 years is about $11 a month added to your mortgage payment. Fortunately, the savings that you get averages between $22 and $28 a month off your utility bill. So from day one, you're automatically saving money when you walk in the home with that with this program. So we felt it was very prudent to bring this forward now. It's something that many cities within our climate zone have adopted already or looking toward adopting, and we felt it was a good time to recommend this at this time. Lastly, I want to just let you know and kind of echo what the mayor said. Our building permits are up within development services as well. As you can see, this is just comparing May of last year to May of this year, and where we are in building permits, where we are in valuations of those permits, and the fees collected. Residential is really the primary driver right now. We're still not seeing a lot of commercial development. The high school is driving some of our commercial building permits, but primarily this is residential. In part, I think it's due to good construction weather through the winter months. I think we've seen a lot of that. In part, obviously, it's due to increased growth with the university, and that's led to several multifamily housing projects being proposed around the university. And also, single family is still a primary driver. We're seeing that the market right now, homes that are being built are on smaller lots, and they're smaller homes than what we saw 3, 4, 5 years ago, and that's really driving what is being constructed today. Families are seeking smaller lots, less things to maintain in a home, closer to town, closer to the grocery store, to work, and so our permits are indicative of that as well. So that's the update from Development Services tonight.
Thank you, Jeremy. Paul?
Good evening. For those of you who may not know, my name is Paul Becker. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the City of Fayetteville. And I want to first go back and tell you a few historical facts, and then we'll move on where we are right now in the financial sector. If you remember, the recession hit in roughly September, October 2008. So we went into 2009, 2010. We saw some declines in revenue. At that point in time, we took certain actions to reduce expenditures, especially to the general fund. Two of the biggest actions that the mayor took was to freeze salaries in July 2009, and also to hold open vacant positions that came open. We evaluated them, and based on whether or not we felt they were essential, we did hold some open. We got into 2011, and things looked much better in 2011. As the mayor said, sales taxes were up roughly 5% for the year. Building permits were up 1% or so, and certain other revenues were up for that period. So we ended 2011 with a net surplus of $1.3 million. What was good about that, because we did end up with a surplus in the prior year, is that was pretty well split before increased revenue above what we had anticipated for the budget and reduced expenditures. Based on that, based on those operating results, the mayor brought forward a compensation plan for employees. And like I said before, many employees had not had a raise since July 2009. That package, which came forward, was supported by the council and approved by the council, provided for roughly $750,000 worth of raises in the general fund for this year, and roughly $1.1 million impact on all the city, all of the other funds, water, sewer, solid waste, etc. So that was the package, again, which was approved by the council and was administered, and salary increases were given throughout the city. As we go forward, we look at the funding for that package, and going forward, it's going to cost the city roughly $994,000 a year going forward in the general fund, roughly $1.5 million going forward to all funds. So it's very important that we look at the revenue and how the revenue is doing this year to see if we can in fact keep up with that decision that we had made. As we look at the revenue right now, sales tax are coming in very strong. Right now, they're about 7% up, and that's with last month only being up roughly 2%. County sales tax, which we rely on the general fund, is up over 6% also, as Springdale has been doing much better than they have in the past. Building permits, again, are up a little bit. Franchise fees are roughly about where I would expect them to be. But overall, we look like we will hit or exceed the revenue budget. Expenditure budget's just about on track with where I would expect it to be at this point in time. Therefore, for the general fund, I would project at this point in time, if things keep going in the same pattern, that we'll have about a $10 million reserve in the general fund at the end of the year. Now, that's strong and that's necessary because we're still in a volatile national economy. You all look in the papers and you're all following the national economy, you see ups and downs, and we don't see employment moving where we'd like to see it to be. And that that is what's going to drive long-term expenditures and long-time economic growth, not only for the entire United States economy, but here in Fayetteville. And of course, we are doing a little better in Fayetteville than the national economy, especially on unemployment. So after we keep a 60-day reserve, which is about $5.7 million, we would still have what we call a free reserve of in the neighborhood of $4 million to meet any unknown contingencies going forward. Again, Mayor feels that's very, very important because we're in a very volatile economy. We go to economic forecasting all the time. The message is rather clear. People are looking for maybe a 2% growth in the future, but nobody knows where it's going, and nobody really wants to bet on that. So we're looking for a stable economy, hopefully growth, but slow growth. So I think we're prepared to go in whatever direction the economy goes. Hopefully it'll be up, and I'll continue to be able to give you good reports, but that's where we look right now on the financial front. Thank you.
David?
My name is David Jurgens. I'm the Utilities Director for the city. And I'm going to go very briefly over the parking deck project. First of all, I'm going to kind of walk through the need, why we need the parking deck, some of the objectives of the project, some of the sites that are being considered by the City Council. We'll take that decision forward in August. We'll talk about the timeline, how we're meeting the objectives and guidance of the Downtown Master Plan, and then very briefly just a few of the long list of selection criteria by which we're making the selection. What we're doing now is going through the process of deciding which is the best site in order to build a deck. In 2011, existing parking facilities, the city owns existing parking facilities in the downtown and Dixon area, were filled 208 times in the year of 2011. So there's a need right now for us to have more parking. People are going down there, and I've personally experienced this 3 times in the last 2 months, where I went down to that area on weeknights, and every gated lot was completely full. There's a need right now. The city commissioned a study in 2005 along with the University of Arkansas. That study identified that if the planned developments at that time and the Walton Arts Center expansion, which was discussed at that time, were all completed, the city would need 1,200 additional parking spaces. Without the Walton Arts Center expansion, the city would need 800 additional parking spaces. Most of that development did occur, not all of it did, but some other development has occurred, and there are currently 2 very large developments underway within 2 blocks of this location of the center of mass of Dixon and downtown, or of Dixon and West, which is really the center of mass of the entertainment district. So the parking again is needed now, and will certainly be needed as these new developments continue. Some folks have asked why now. Really, if you hold up construction, the prices of construction will not go down. They will only go up. And then also, interest rates aren't going to get much lower. So if we delay the project and put it off, it will increase the cost of borrowing the money. So the time to jump on this opportunity is right now, and we already have the need. The objectives of the project. The objectives are to provide adequate parking for whoever wants to go to the entertainment district, be they citizens of Fayetteville, their guests, or visitors to the city, for whatever the desire is to come down there. Obviously, with 208 times last year where all of our parking spaces were full, there's a lot of reasons people go down to the entertainment district. Some of them have to do with football games, other university events, graduations, events at the Walton Arts Center, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, Block Street Party that we had a few weeks ago. Many, many, many reasons why these spaces are full. So that's what we're building the deck for, is to provide adequate parking for residents, visitors, and guests. The goal of this project is to add 300 spaces at this time, and then to plan for future parking expansions, integrating with the downtown master plan and with the other planned development in the area to make sure that what we build works and fits for the next 50 years with all of the other plans in the area. Just looking at a map of the primary locations we're looking at, all 4 of these sites are city-owned sites. We've got the WAC lot on the west, the theater lot in the center, the south lot on the south, and then the east lot obviously on the east. In looking at these 4 sites, we've pretty much ruled out with the city council the south and east lots because they are so small that in order to build a deck at that location, you're already at maximum height. You have very limited capability for expansion, and you're literally right in the face of the residents that live next door. The deck would be 10 to 15 feet off and 40 feet higher than the residences that are immediately adjacent to those sites. So those 2 sites have been taken off, and we're focusing on both the WAC lot and the theater lot. Based off our initial geotechnical investigations, both of those lots will work. There are some differences, so some strengths and weaknesses between them, but both lots are viable for building a deck. Looking now at the project timeline, you can see that we are well underway. We've got consultants on board. And the next step is for the staff and the project team to present to the city council the alternatives so the council can then make a choice of which site to select for where we'll actually build the deck, and then go forward with the final design, the details on the architectural standards, etc., and the full layout. Right now we're just doing very preliminary work until the actual site is selected. And then we'll be opening bids later on and going into construction in spring of next year, and then finish construction in 2014. Looking at this next timeline, you can see what we've already completed. It's highlighted in yellow. Talking briefly about the downtown master plan. The master plan was completed in April 2004. It was adopted by the city council, and there's some specific guidance within that plan that I want to point out that we are in fact meeting, complying with, and following. We want to ensure adequate parking for future growth. That's a goal of the city and has been for a long time. We're working to accomplish that. Parking should not be placed at key intersections at corner lots. We don't want to put parking right at the corner of West and Dixon. That is incredibly valuable real estate that can be used for so many better purposes to serve the public. We want the parking to be offset from that a little bit. It could be, there's multiple ways of owning the parking. The city's evaluated some of those in the past, and we believe that city-owned parking is in fact the best option available at this time. We want to maximize on-street parking, and that's done. The on-street parking spaces are filled regularly. We want to have structured parking. If we build a deck, we don't want it to be on those key corners. We want it to be in the middle of the block. And so that's what we're looking at, is how to integrate it in to the blocks and to the streets where we still get street access, but where we have usable commercial structures, buildings up front. That being called what we call liner buildings. It can be used for other purposes so that residents that are customers that are walking along the street don't have the parking deck right in their face, but instead they have usable buildings that they want to go in and out of and bring more business to downtown area and give our customers, our residents, our citizens better services and more opportunities to have fun down there, which is what most of us go down there to do. Very briefly, this is a laundry list of selection criteria, and the list is significantly longer than this, but this is just some of the highlights. First, of course, we have to consider what is the cost of the structure going to be. When we go forward to the City Council in August or September with the list of alternatives, we will take forward a matrix that identifies the primary selection criteria, and we will compare those so that the council can make a very thorough, well thought out, well-informed choice, knowing how each of these criteria are impacted by the different sites that they have available to them. impact on local businesses, impact on residences. How does it work with the terrain? We don't want a 12-story deck. That's not going to work. It wouldn't meet planning requirements, and frankly, it'd be really ugly. We don't want really ugly. We want it to blend with the ambiance of the environment. If you've ever heard an engineer before say ambiance in a presentation and really mean it, this may be a first. So we want it to match the feel of that area. Impact on residents, impact on adjacent businesses. How well will it expand? And that's a key one when we expand in the future, because someday we're going to need more parking down there. We want it to integrate with that in the future. You can see the rest of the list after we get finished with everything. If you have any questions on this or any specific criteria, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you, David. Connie?
Hi, I'm Connie Edmiston. I'm Director of Fayetteville Parks and Recreation, and we have a fun summer lined out for you. We have over 3,400 acres in which we have 70 parks, and each one has a special amenity there that will meet your needs. We have 3 lakes in which you can fish and boat at. We have over 37 miles of trails, some which are soft surface, about 19 miles of it, and growing is hard surface trails. I have just a couple questions to wake you up a little bit. Could anyone tell me where the Parks and Recreation office is located? Oh, right there? No.
By the recycling.
By the recycling. Can I throw it to you? Yeah.
Nice
Awesome.
catch. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone know what time our parks close at? What time? Now, I will.
11.
At what time?
I do.
You're close. 11 o'clock. Do you want to come get a water? I'm not going to throw the water bottle. That could be dangerous. Our parks open at sunrise and they close at sunset. They close at 11 o'clock, except for our 3 lakes, Lake Fayetteville, Lake Sequoia, and Lake Wilson. They all 3 close at sunset. And sunset is actually 1/2 hour before dusk. So do know that. You get locked in. We do have a new park reservation that's on our website. You can go to our website and reserve one of 13 pavilions throughout our city that you can reserve for a party or a birthday party or reunion or just a class get together. And those are available. I do recommend that you do it early. The schedule is already getting very full for the summertime, especially the larger pavilions, which are at Walker Park and at Veterans Memorial Park. We have a couple of gardens that we love for you to visit. I think you'll all probably enjoy the Downtown Square Gardens. And also we have our gardens at Wilson Park. In those we have 2 greenhouses that supplies us with many of our park plants and stuff. And if you're into gardening, we would like to invite you to come to Wilson Park or to Mount Sequoia Gardens and look at our greenhouse and have a little tour of them. It's fascinating how our horticulturists grow things and have things all ready and all planned out. They do a fantastic job. Of course, we do have community gardens now. We've added 2 new ones this year. Well, actually 1 new one at Walker Park, which is 38 spaces, and then at Jefferson Park, we have 9 spots there, and all of those are taken, and things are growing well. We finally got fences that were donated to us around those because the deer love to pick from our gardens also. We do have sign up for our programs. We have many programs going on right now. We have just completed most of our soccer league, and I do have a couple of soccer medals up here, and I thought this little gal on the front row, would you like to have a medal? And I'm going to let you, what's your name? H. Paige. I'm sorry, Paige. Paige, would you mind delivering this medal to a man back there named John Colbert? He serves on our Southeast Fayetteville Community Center Board of Directors, and he's been on it for many years, and he helps us serve our youth. Would you mind delivering it to that man? He'll put his hand up for you. Thank you, John L. We've had softball going on. We have 88 teams right now. We're getting ready for the fall league. So if you have a fall team you would like to play on, we offer men's, women's, co-rec, and church leagues. Girls softball is in its last month. We had 444 girls playing this year, and they'll be kicking off their end of the year season tournament in a few weeks. A new program that we started, this is our third year, but is adult co-rec kickball league, and it has gone over tremendously. We have a spring league and we also have a fall league, and we expect there to be about 24 different teams in it, so that's comprised of about 333 teams. So that's been very popular. We're taking sign-ups right now for that. Goldie Park concert kicked off last Thursday night with the Smart Brothers, and they did a fantastic job. We have a great lineup for you every other Thursday nights from 7 until 9 o'clock, and it's free for all citizens or anybody, any visitor that you have with you. Come down, bring a lawn chair or a blanket and sit down and enjoy the music. We have several different music groups lined out for you. Our next one will be Thursday, June the 14th, and it's La Faso. And the reason why they're called that is because they play Latin, funk, and soul music. So they'll be very good. And the next one is one of my favorite, is on June the 28th is Tim Brentley. And he's coming from Atlanta, Georgia. He plays kind of pop rock, so you can kind of sing along with him. He's fantastic. And then we'll have Joe Giles. We have the Matt the electrician, and it's not Matt the trail man, it's Matt the electrician, who's coming from Austin, Texas. And then we'll end up the year with a group, our hometown group, Chase Missy. Wilson Park Swimming Pool is open. We opened up Friday. It was a little nippy, so we did postpone and rescheduled our first dive-in movie. We have a 22-foot screen that we blow up and put on top of the pool office area, and we give people inner tubes that they can swim in the pool, and we've got chairs along the side, and you can come watch a movie. And this is complimented by our Fayetteville firefighters who contributed funds for us to have the movies. We will be starting out this Friday at dusk. It has to be dark, around 8:30 or so, with the Muppets. Other movies that we have parents that help us select these movies, but we've got Cars coming, The Adventures of Tintin, and I guess Up. Has anyone seen Up? Mm-hmm. Oh, anyone that's not a city employee that seen back there? I've got a bag for you, right back here. Okay, and that will be coming June the 20th. We have some camps if you want to get rid of your kids for a week. We've got some awesome, wholesome, healthy camps for them. One of my favorite is the Outdoor Adventure Camp. We'll take your child to Lake Fayetteville from 9 until about noon. We promise you they will be tired and ready to go to bed that night. And you might end up buying a kayak or a mountain bike out of the deal. What we do is we teach the children how to kayak, how to mountain bike, how to play disc golf. They go up to Lewis and Clark and they get on the rock climbing apparatus and get to learn how to do that. A lot of outdoor things that we teach them. And one of the leading things that we also teach them is to leave no trace. You know, how to leave our community in a beautiful way. Besides our outdoor adventure camp, those are for ages 8 to 12. We also started there's 4 of those. And we have one that's for ages 12 to 15. So if you have some kids in your neighborhood that needs to get out from playing Nintendo or whatever, that's old, whatever game they're playing, please send them to us. We also have camps for soccer, tennis, drama, and Camp Wilson, which is a lot of fun. At the Yvonne Richardson Community Center, we have many fun programs going on. We have a program called Summer Fun for Kids, and we take kids on different trips and just supply them with a recreational programs that will enhance their summer. We also have senior pickleball games there. We have kids' crops in which they have a garden. We teach them how to grow vegetables and fruits and how even to cook them. We have a kids' night in which kids just come down and played old-fashioned games, and that has been a big hit. And then the last Monday of every month, we have what we call Life Source Food Basket, which everybody can come down and have a free meal and have a sack of groceries to take back home. Just a few capital projects that we have going on. We will be developing St. Joseph Park, which is where the old St. Joseph School used to be, and we're placing a bench and a park sign and a terrace seating wall there. Gordon Long and also Gully Park will be receiving new swings. There will also be a special needs swing on each of those, so that would be a great enhancement to those playgrounds. At Red Oak Park, we will be replacing the burnt down. We had a playground that was actually burnt down. We never did figure out who started the fire, but we will be replacing that. Those children in that neighborhood need it, but it will be with something they cannot burn. We just finished, as the mayor said, a great project at Walker Park, improving that area. We have planted 490 new trees, so you're going to see a lot of people out watering the trees for us. And we will be working on the regional park and Lights of the Ozark. I think I'm supposed to be finished. Am I still on? Oh, I am still on. Oh, okay. I thought I went off, and I thought, oh. We do have many volunteer opportunities for you, from being on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to adopt a trail, adopt a park, to be a trail trekker out on our trail system, to help people know which way to go, to help them change a tire, and maybe just to give them some water. And there's lots of things happening. If we didn't have our volunteers, our Parks and Recreation program could not be what it is. Last year, we had almost 17,000 hours that our community gave to us to help us. And if you put that to a monetary value, that was almost $332,000 that our community helped us. So I appreciate you all being out there. Be park and trail trekkers for us. If you see something going on in a park that shouldn't be, or you see something broken, or something that needs to be fixed, or you just love that park to death, let us know about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire Department.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. My name's Harley Hunt. I'm the fire marshal here in Fayetteville. And we want to talk briefly with you about the Firewise program we're excited about here in the city. Ms. Butler, Sue Butler, is our public education coordinator, and she's put together a presentation to kind of show you guys what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to recertify the city as being a Firewise community. We had been in 2005 and 6 certified as a Firewise community. And we're excited about getting back to that point. And so it's a community program that will involve not only us, but you guys. And so Ms. Butler's got a little presentation put here together, and we'll see.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Yes, this is just a quick little thing about give you an update and stuff on Firewise and what it is. What is Arkansas Firewise? Oh, thank you. It's a community program designed to encourage and promote fire safety in the wildland/urban interface. The Firewise community is made up of homeowners, community leaders, developers, firefighters, and you, the homeowner. City of Fayetteville once was a certified fire community, but we lost the certification, and we want to be certified again. But we need your help. We need you. That was kind of like an Uncle Sam with a tree instead. The criteria to be a certified Firewise community is not that hard. It's very easy. It consists of these efforts: completing a community assessment. This will involve aerial GIS mapping, Firewise rate risk level, like low, moderate, high risk, creating a action plan, hold a Firewise Day event, apply for a recognition, and then continue to renew annually the certification. Once we have it, we don't want to lose it. Some of the things Firewise promotes is a lean, clean, and green defensible space. These are simple steps for the homeowners. Lean means pruning trees and shrubs from ground up, pruning tree limbs hanging over your house, arranging fire breaks such as gravel walkways or driveways. Clean, remove dead plants, leaves, dead branches. Remove leaves from gutters. We always forget that. Nobody likes to do that. But somehow we have to do it. And green means limited foliage, limited height of foliage, and lawn well watered. This is some example. I don't know if you could see everything. This gives you a little idea. The 30 feet distance, 10 feet from the ground. They say 10, but 6 to 10 feet is good. Cutting the branches up. No overhang on the trees. It kind of gives you an idea. Are there benefits to this? Yes, there are. It creates defensive space, which is very important when it comes to fire and its spreading. Improves property value while reducing risk of loss. Improves community relationships with the local agencies. Encourages good neighbors, and offers peace of mind. Here's a little video for you. This is 1 minute long. It's the shortest video I could find. But it just gives you a little idea.
Destruction like this is a tragedy. But what's even more tragic is that it didn't have to happen. It isn't fate. It isn't luck. While wildfire can be unpredictable, it isn't random that this home burned while this one survived. The difference here is that these homeowners prepared long before the fire ever started. The difference is Firewise. We simply don't have enough fire engines to protect every home. Residents must do their part to give their communities a fighting chance to survive a wildfire. Some of the things that help this home survive are non-combustible roofing materials, non-combustible siding, dual-pane windows, and fire-resistant ornamental vegetation with adequate clearance. Little things can make a big difference.
For tips on protecting your home and community from wildfire, visit firewise.org.
So don't let this happen to you. Be a part of the Arkansas Firewise community. Arkansas Firewise. There's more to contact Battalion Chief Harley Hunt. He's the fire marshal of the city of Fayetteville. This will be implemented with over the month. We're going to be over the course of actually the summer probably is assessing homes and things like that. But we wanted to give you a little idea of what we were going to be doing. This is very important with the weather coming up, that we've had a very dry season. It's very simple to provide this for your home, and it's not cutting down trees or anything. It's just trimming up some things, doing a couple simple steps to avoid a fire traveling to the next house. Do you have anything?
I don't. Just like Sue said, we'll be working with the Tree and Landscape Committee and a couple others. We'll have some community work days and things like that we'll get the word out to you guys. But this was just an initial way that we could talk to you about what we're going to do. And like I said, any questions, there's some information on the back table. And feel free to contact our office anytime. So thanks.
Just so you know, I'm sorry, we do have a Firewise advisory board that's under the, it used to be formerly called the Tree and Landscape Committee Advisory Board. So that's where our first step to becoming a Firewise community is that action there. So we have the board. Now the other steps will come along, and it'll be very simple. So thank you for your time.
Those are the reports tonight. So, now I'm going to open it up for questions or comments tonight. So, who'd like to be first? Please introduce yourself when you come up.
I'm the noisy Aubrey Shepherd. First comment, I'm still waiting, hopefully, to see true grassy functional swales replace the automatic curb and gutter system that we use. There are places the water should be piped out of the street into the grassy swale and so forth. Rather than directly into the storm drain, the water can soak in a good swale with natural soil under it. And of course, pipes send the flooding problems downstream, and they create erosion in the streams. And we all know that and believe it, but it's hard to change the way things are done. So I'm hoping that might occur in the future as more planning is done. We talked about things tonight. Probably all include some of that, at least. Another question, and this is a yes or no, I would hope. Can the flyover out at the mall have a bike and pedestrian lane? Maybe I got here too late to hear a comment on that.
As a federal facility, I don't believe so. I can get back to you on that, Aubrey, but I'm pretty sure that we've checked into that initially, and I don't believe, because it's part of the federal highway system, that we can allow that.
Thank you.
Otherwise, as you know, we do that on most streets we construct.
Right. Okay, the other comment is on the Frisco Trail extension. It's my belief that we should eliminate the proposed bridge at 9th Street and South Locust, because there is an existing bridge just a few blocks, very short walk or ride or whatever to get there and get across the stream. It's upstream on the Spout Spring branch. It goes directly into a paved parking lot, which is the terminus of the trail anyway there. So, and people who want to go to the east of Walker Park may not all, especially, you know, just relatively few people at the senior center walk the walk over the mountain to get to the senior center and back and make that circle. Some do who are in good shape. But the point is that the traffic at 15th and 7th already is a natural for a wider sidewalk that could accommodate trail use. So that bridge, that proposed bridge at 9th Street and Locust, and some of you have heard this from me before, will take out a good bit of habitat. It'll take out natural water absorbing soil and tree canopy, and I'm sure it will have to be, I don't know, I hope this will be not one that takes 50 feet of right of way if it's built through there, like most of them have over the years. They've gotten smaller. I know the last couple of things in the city were built to smaller standard, or at least used a smaller right of way and still got the work done nicely. But anyhow, we just had the great celebration last Friday of the Fayetteville being named a habitat community by the National Wildlife Federation, and we're begging more folks for next year. Say this partly as a member of Environmental Action Committee of Fayetteville, but we want more people to certify their yards, their industrial property, bigger parts of the parks, and have more natural habitat in the city. It's very important for people's mental health and relationships, all kinds of things. We've heard about the value of having some wildlife, some birds singing, some squirrels running and playing in the trees, a bunny in your garden to chase off if you want to, and an occasional deer that may eat more hostas than grass. But anyway, so there are many reasons not to do it there. Alternatives, my choice in the selection vote here is a grade crossing at Government Avenue. And it's not just for trail use. It would be a lot simpler to have it there than where the trail ends coming from the north, further down toward MLK. People who want to go to the bridge on at the end of Locust Avenue, which is actually ends, it's blocked off right now by a fence on the ambulance service building that's down there. It used to be National Guard Armory, and then it was part of the educational system in recent years. But I only see 2 or 3 vehicles parked down there, so they could give up 2, 3 parking spaces and move the fence over. The trail could go right out to head up to 7th Street, or you might even be able to get right away where 8th Street right away goes between some houses all the way over closer to over to Locust. But that would cost a lot less than building this gigantic built-up road through the wooded wetland to the spout spring at an angle from the end of 9th, and it would also, well, that dam that it would be created by the road across there will increase flooding of the homes at the end of Locust. And I've got photos online over several years of houses there flooding. And they're very nice people. They don't complain, but they are unhappy with it. And they're not certain what this project will do to them. But using that existing bridge, I don't know, how much does the bridge cost, Mayor? Do you have that figure to put in that road and bridge?
It's about $1,000 a linear foot, typically for a bridge. So,
and
the
right of way.
we were looking at about right of way is part of the park.
We own the right of way, but
it was about an $80,000 bridge.
But to build the road out to the bridge would cost quite a bit of money. It's like a block of street almost.
Yeah, they're 12-foot wide trails, so we would be very sensitive as we went through that area. And the bridge, we want to be wide and long enough to span the floodway. And we would also do evaluation. Garver LLC has been hired to do a flood study. We would not create a rise situation with that. So the flooding, it won't cause.
It'd almost have to be perpetual bridge rather than a roadway in the standard way with culverts all the way through.
That's right. It's a clear span bridge complying with our stream.
No, I mean all the way back to the end of Locust Avenue. Oh. Because the flood crosses there, and there's actually a substantial stream that leaves Locust. It's the ditch that comes from up at Advanced Auto. Used to be the stream that ran under what's now, as a real stream and ditch over the years, under what's now the Walgreens store. That's where water comes. There are 2 huge outlets there at Advanced Auto that are underground now. Used to be massive amounts of water on the surface when it came out of there. So anyway, these are my suggestions, and they agree with some of the things that have been published by letters to the editor, and certainly the trail from the end of that apartment complex at the sale barn could run down, let's see, it's alley 450. It's between College Avenue and Dunn Avenue, and it's passable, usable. You could pave it as a trail. People already use it to get down to 15th in many cases. And so that would be an alternative to all the extra expenditures straight across the street. Any questions for me?
Well, I just wanted to recap just a little bit. Of course, you've said that you want to eliminate the bridge on 9th Street.
Yes, sir.
That's fact, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. More natural habitat, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and use existing bridge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey. Who else? Yes, come on in. Y'all come on up. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jade Terminella, and I am a small business owner here in Fayetteville. I also serve on the board of Spay Arkansas, which funds the Northwest Arkansas low-cost spay-neuter clinic. And I am here because I am part of the growing movement for a no-kill equation in Fayetteville. And I'd like to know what your plans are for a shelter in your next term, and if you're open to the idea of creating a no-kill community.
Okay. I think, Yolanda, you want to address that?
We are working, can you go to the microphone?
You need to go to a microphone. Yeah. We are looking at that.
Yes, we are definitely looking at that. As a matter of fact, we have been striving to reduce the euthanasia rate for 3 years since we actually moved the shelter to its new position. And I believe currently we have a euthanasia rate to date this year at 23. Is that correct? We're at 23%, and we're going to continue to work that down. And we think that we will see a definite change when, of course, the county, I'm not saying that that's a solution, but we will definitely see a change. And to date, we have not had the opportunity to actually operate the shelter as a City of Fayetteville shelter. But I think once we have that time under our belt, maybe I'm thinking a year or at least 6 months, we definitely want to not have to put down as many animals. We're really, really striving for spay-neuter and our microchipping. Our goal would be not to have to put any animals down and find homes for every animal that comes into the shelter.
Do you have plans to increase the spay-neuter program at the shelter? Right now you guys do about 400 a year?
No, that's not correct. We actually do over 2,000 because that is just the low-cost spay-neuter. We actually also spay-neuter every animal coming out of the shelter.
That's adopted, right? But in order to prevent more animals from happening, the
well,
numbers
definitely,
have to be much higher than
yes, we will be looking for funding for that. I think we will move now for more donations. We may be striving for other programs that will help us to provide that service. That's a definite consideration, of course.
Well, I think, Mr. Mayor, what we're looking for is for the shelter, for some reform to happen in our shelter. And I think that there's a large group of us that are more than willing to help make that happen. But we keep being met with either resistance or the lack of wanting to work together. I'm not really sure what it is. So that's kind of where we're at, but we want to help, and our only goal is to make the Fayetteville shelter the best it can be, and I hope that we can work together to make that happen. There's over 30 cities in the United States that have switched to being no-kill shelters in a very, very short period of time, and it can be done. And if you guys are making the kind of progress that you say that you are from last year,
yes,
because I think the euthanasia rate from last year was 36%.
It was at 35. That's correct.
And so if you're at 23
currently
this year,
we're at 23. That's correct.
That's a big improvement. But we would like to see faster change. If we feel like because of the county shelter opening this summer is the prime opportunity for us to put this into implementation at the Fayetteville shelter, we're going to have the break in numbers. You guys won't have as many dogs coming in, and it'll be a good time to try it.
Definitely, and we are looking at other cities that have been successful in this process, and it has taken a planning time and an implementation time. So we're definitely looking at all of this, and as we look at that, we're striving to keep reducing that euthanasia rate and increase the spay-neuter and the microchipping, increase our fostering programs. We're looking at all of that, and we welcome your input.
All right, thank you.
Yes, we certainly do.
Thank you.
I'll go on the same subject.
Okay.
My name is Scott Harper, and my wife and I were very active volunteers at the shelter for probably 2 years plus. Jade said it all very well. I'm very pleased with her message that she put out. A couple of things that I noticed that Yolanda mentioned was the 2,000 low-cost or spay and neuters that they did. What she failed to mention was only 400 of those were the low-cost spay and neuters. Spay Arkansas, on the other hand, in Springdale, did over 5,000 last year. And the only way we're ever going to complete basically what we're calling the no-kill equation is we've got to spend more of our resources toward prevention and reducing the intake at the shelter. I've been sending emails and messages to Yolanda, Justine, the mayor, the city council members, and I've been told the same thing again and again. This takes time. We're working on it. But I've been working and sending messages to the city council and for over a year and a half now. And there's many of these communities across the nation that have achieved the no-kill status, which is a 10% or less euthanasia rate in less than a year. And it's just something that we can do. It's something we would all be proud of. We are not against, the no-kill movement is not against the shelter. It's not against the administration. We just want you guys to look at some of these proven programs. They're out there in black and white that anybody could implement this program at the shelter and have success, most anyone. We've met resistance, again, from the city leaders, from the top all the way to the bottom. And we've actually been following some Facebook pages, and we've basically heard the superintendent of the shelter and the shelter manager basically say they hope the no-kill movement fails. So I don't see how in the world we could possibly succeed when the people that are leading and running the shelter now are personally against what we're trying to achieve. And we're all after the same thing. We're all animal lovers. Most of us here are animal lovers. We're just trying to do a better job. And what we found is it can be done. And we want it done now. And the money issue, I've suggested to the city leaders, and it's been suggested even before me, the simple solution of raising money by giving the citizens an option of a check box donating $1 on their water bill toward this no-kill, low euthanasia rate shelter. And I think the people of the citizens of Fayetteville would be more than happy to fund such a program if they believed it was a solution for a change, instead of throwing money after the same old ideas, the same old shelter. And I know you guys improved it when you took office. I understand that, and I appreciate that. But we're to the point where y'all are at the same juncture in time that the previous administration was. We're ready to throw out what y'all have done and start over again. But we'd rather it be something y'all are willing to do, so we could work together with you on this. And again, I am also a member of the no-kill movement, and we would definitely like to know specifically from the mayor your position on the no-kill equation program for Fayetteville, whether you're against it, whether you're for it, or whether you're just going to look into it some further. And thank you very much.
I've got to look at all the information that's before.
I've been sending you information for well over a year, and you've passed it down to what you said was a proper department. And when I talked to your department head in a personal meeting with her, she said she had never received such a message from your department, from your level. And is that not true, Yolanda?
Well, that information would have gone to the department head. I am not the department.
But it did not make it to your hands. So you were not aware of information that I was passing on from the top down. It didn't make it to the person that was actually running the shelter. And I was a little disappointed in that. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. Who else? Yes.
I'm Laverne Cooper, and whoever decides on if the dogs or animals should be euthanized needs to know what they're doing so that we don't get animals back in the community that are dangerous and vicious and could kill or injure a child.
Thank you. Who else? Okay. Well, thank you all very much for your input tonight. And if there's nothing else, I want to thank Pastor Smith and the St. James Baptist Church for giving us this building tonight for our meeting, and thank you all for attending. And until next time, thank you all. We're adjourned.